G'day guys, Steve Morgan here for Fishing Monthly Magazine's on a bit of a scoop. I'm at the launch on the Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia for Mercury's new 4.6 litre V8 4-stroke outboard, and I'm with Randy Caruana. Randy, you've been heavily involved in the development, the marketing of this outboard, and it's a real game changer for you, isn't it? The first point is OptiMax is gone forever, and so are the small Verados. And why is that? Let's just run through some of the key attributes that makes this such a great motor.
Yeah, so historically a lot of the consumers were still sticking with OptiMax and some of the 4-stroke product, but there was always barriers. So if you were an OptiMax guy and you were looking at 4-stroke, there was a weight penalty or the acceleration wasn't the same. Those barriers are gone now. So when you move to the new V8, there is no penalty. It's the same weight. It actually has better performance, better fuel economy, yet it's quiet. There's even versions that actually are a little louder, but basically there are no penalties moving to the V8 4-stroke. So you really don't need an OptiMax or DI technology anymore.
So let's talk about, for the tech heads out there, let's talk about the what's underneath the cowling. V8 4.6 litre, 32 valves in there, quad cam design, and it's really an extension of that 3.4 litre platform that was so popular at Miami, wasn't it?
Exactly. 2 more cylinders, but the nice thing about this engine, it basically continues on with the Verado heritage, the sound quality and vibration-free operation, but beyond that, fuel efficiency. These engines are unbelievably fuel efficient. There really is no penalty to go into a bigger displacement engine because the weight is down, but also the fuel efficiency is class leading.
I was pretty impressed with the fact that if you've already got a Mercury, you've got smart craft gauges in your boat, repowers are easy. You don't have to have this advanced midsection with the power steering in it. You can just repower straight into your current OptiMax rig if that's what you want to do.
Absolutely. That's the one thing that these engines bring to life for us. The configurations and the versatility in the engines. You can buy a mechanical shifted engine and throttle, a digital throttle and shift, and then when you talk about steering, you can go mechanical steering, hydraulic steering, or if you go to Verado, you can go to electro-hydraulic. You can even add electro-hydraulic onto the conventional mounting system as well if you want to add that option.
Now let's talk about some of the horsepower. We were at the launch in Miami of the 3.4 litre that you get in the 175, 200, 225. This 4.6 litres available in anything from 200 to 300 and lots of variations in between.
Yeah, and in addition on the V6, we launched a 175, 200, and 225 in Miami. As an additional surprise, we're also launching a 175 ProXS V6, which was not launched in Miami. But then when you move into the V8, the V8s and a ProXS are from 200 to 300 horsepower. In a Verado from 250 to 300, and in a CMS you can go 225, 250, and 300.
Now, all of these motors are covered by Mercury's new 6-year warranty, and you're obviously confident in the build to offer that.
We are. The one thing that's unique about these engines is we built these engines to be commercial engines as well. Typically, we build a mainstream engine, and then from that base, we develop a C-Pro variation. In this case, what we did is we started from the get-go to build a C-Pro engine, so a very, very durable foundation, and then we developed other derivatives from that C-Pro foundation.
Well, it's a great looking outboard. The dealers have been loving it. We've talked to all the Mercury dealers at the conference this morning and they love it, but we don't take anyone's word for it. We want to get out into the water and run one of these bad boys, and we're going to come back to you with some performance statistics. Now, one thing I've noticed about this launch is this 4.6 litre V8 platform is available in so many different models, different horsepowers, different midsections, and different iterations like the ProXS, the Standard, and this one, which is the Verado. Now, the Verado has what's called advanced midsection, which is a way that it dampens, cradles, and incorporates all the power steering all in one unit. And you can tell the Verados because they're silver on the side, and everyone, whether it's a black or a white motor, has got that silver side. The AMS works really well. This motor, I can hardly feel a vibration through it. It's quiet. I never expected a V8 outboard to perform like this. Well, that's pretty interesting. We can't often do this sitting next to a V8 outboard, but here we go. We've just been transitioning on and off the plane. The 4.6 litre V8's been very smooth, and that power band's pretty solid. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on board this boat here, which is around in the low 20 feet. Pushed it on the plane really easily. The noise, you can tell it's a V8, but it's not over the top, and see it's dropped back to idle now, and it's really quiet. That's pretty impressive. There you go. You can see that mid-range torque in this outboard kicking in right there. We've just gone over the wake of a substantial Gold Coast gin palace. Came off the plane, and that 4.6 litres pushed it up on the plane, no worries at all. It's also pretty interesting that I can do this interview right next to this V8 and not have to yell. It's pretty quiet at wide open throttle, and I think even quieter than the Verado that this motor replaces. So, digging a little bit deeper into the fuel usage, we found on this boat, a 25-foot boat with a 250 on the back, the best economy we can get out of it was around 1.2 kilometres per litre of fuel burn. Now, that's at around 4,000 RPM, giving us just over 40 kilometres an hour. That's a pretty good achievement for a smallish motor on a pretty big boat. So we've managed to track down Nicholas Webb, who's in charge of making sure that our Australian dealers have these motors to sell. And Nicholas, the big question all the dealers had today was, when can we get our hands on one? That's just how long's a bit of string, but how long is the bit of string?
Well, if you're talking about the V6, obviously we announced back in Miami, and the demand for that has been huge. We expect it's going to be very similar with the V8. So I guess what we really want to say to customers is get your orders in quick with dealers, and there'll be a little bit of a wait to start with. We'll start shipping some product hopefully in around June, but there could be a little bit of a wait on that. So depending which there's so many products in the family, so that'll depend a little bit. But yeah.
The take-home message, I suppose, is if you really love this motor, you want to do a repower, because repowering's so easy, plugs into your standard steering, is to get your order in early.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you really want to get a spot in the queue pretty much. It'll improve over time, but yeah, definitely there's going to be a whole lot of people who want to get their hands on these engines as quick as possible.
Now, if people want to get more information about these engines, what's the official Mercury website in Australia?
mercurymarine.com.au.
Well, there you go. You can do your desktop research now. I've done some on the water stuff for you, and this motor's going now. This is the ProXS. This is the throaty one, and we can hardly hear it going at all. So now we've spent a little bit of time on the water on this new 4.6 litre. Let's go through some of the claims that Mercury have made. The first one, of course, is the performance. Well, there's no doubt that this 250 on this 25-foot boat performed very well. It got the best economy of around 1.2 kilometres per litre of fuel burned, and it got this boat up on the plane very easily with half a dozen people on board. Next, we have the weight, and you can't ask any more than the fact that this platform, this 4.6 litre V8, weighs exactly the same as the previous model OptiMax, which it replaces. The next, I suppose, is the noise and vibration, and this model here, it's the Verado model, which has got the advanced midsection, and I think you agree with me, it's a quiet motor, it's not vibrating very much, and it's a very pleasant motor to be around. Like all four strokes, there's no smoke, the amenity's great. And the other thing is the cost of ownership. Like all of the 2.1 litre models all the way through to this 4.6 litre model, they all have that no valve train service for the life of the outboard, and that's a big factor when it comes to servicing the four-strokes. So your service costs are basically going to be very similar to your old two-stroke outboard. All in all, this 4.6 litre platform is very similar to that 3.4 litre platform that it builds upon. The dealers love it, the guys from Mercury love it, and I can't help but love this motor and what it brings to boating.